Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the GKC Show. It is Sam and I here today, just flying, I can't say solo because there's two of us, but a little duet, if you will, of NFT.com goodness. So,
All right, I mean, as much as I love Goose, I'm definitely calling Maverick on this one.
yeah,
So, watch the canopy, but I don't know how it's gonna work
that's
out for
cool.
you.
I'm cool with Goose. It's fine by me. He's a good, cool dude. I know he died, but whatever. I could be I could be a victim. I'll play the victim this episode. So we are fresh off of the GKC meeting. Alec gave us some really good updates. Just off of my notes here, a blog and educational material that they're working on. They've got new featured profiles. So I think I'm going to try working on my profile this week. So I see if I can get up there as a featured profile. I've done some stuff with my profile, but not too much with it as of yet. And then the big news I think from it was reordering collections. That's the aesthetic change. I think that is going to be the glue that kind of holds the experience together for when the next meaningful editions are made. Obviously, a marketplace is one of those, but everything has to look nice and be orderly before they can start pulling the trigger on some of the stuff that actually has, real world value and not just looks nice value.
Yeah, I don't I have the feeling, and this is not backed up by any kind of insider knowledge, but I just get the feeling that it's going to be like kind of these smaller things, and then it's just going to be like 1 month of everything, and then it's
Right.
just going to be like a like a mad dash to the launch, the public launch, and the marketplace, and all that stuff, and it's all going to happen kind of at once. I
Yeah.
just get the feeling for that because I mean, if you think about it, the beta testing the marketplace is going to be a little bit tough. I mean, just kind of the whatever 100 of us who are super active, kind of like trading each other's
Mhm.
NFTs back and forth. I'm not sure how much value that has. I mean, it'll be valuable, but I feel like once that hits, it'll just be like, okay, now we're going public and let's just take over the world
Yeah, I feel like
because
those two things probably have to happen very close together in time. Uh,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think, and yeah, it's just the feeling I get, and like I said, it's not backed up by anything specific, but yeah, I don't think, as we kind of sometimes are a little bit, it's a little bit painful to see things kind of roll out slowly, and
mhm.
we talk about how it's the right thing to do, and I still agree with that, but I don't know, I just get the feeling that we're not as far off as we may think we are, and that's just purely my feeling.
I think that the speed at which they're going is purposefully slower than they could potentially be going if they were really trying to rush stuff out the door. I think that they could have a lot more in front of us, but they have a lot more done behind the scenes so that the things that they're presenting to us are um, more polished, I guess, or at
Yeah,
least so that they can get more feedback on it. Um,
if you roll too much out, the feedback, you're going to get too much feedback,
right, there's too
and
much stuff to fix.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely good. It's just I don't know. There's something in the back of my brain that says it's coming relatively soon. So I hope I'm
Yeah.
proved right.
Well, and I think you're right. They're piecing together this puzzle, and I don't think that the whole thing is real. I think once a couple of the end pieces get put in, all of a sudden we're gonna go, wow, oh,
Yeah,
this all fits together and makes a whole lot of sense.
yeah,
And obviously, they had some kind of vision at the beginning of it where that was going to be the end result. Maybe it doesn't look exactly like they had thought it was going to look in the beginning, but I think that's also again kind of the purpose of doing it this way. Um,
yeah. I think it's kind of my I love the meme contest that was going on in the
yeah,
lounge. That was fantastic. And I honestly think my favorite was definitely the questions from GKC members and Alec, and then the
yeah.
NFT.com league. That was perfect. Because he always touches himself, and he's good about it. And Jordan does the same thing. And yeah, there's just not stuff you can talk about because there's legit like legal issues because there are still
Yeah.
Genesis keys out there. There are still like I'm not sure what the term is, tampering or insider trading or whatever, but this is stuff that we're all invested in, literally invested in becoming valuable. So yeah, I think it's it's by necessity, a lot of it, that they
Well,
get released to the
and
public.
that had a lot to do with the question that I asked Alec, which was, are we going, when we go live to the public, are we going to have all the GKC keys sold? In essence, because whatever having all of those sold unlocks for the community, if it unlocks anything. Again, it's all speculation. But whatever they plan to do after that key sale is done, I was wondering if that was a precursor for going live. Like, does one of these things need to happen first in order for the next thing to happen?
Yeah, and that's gonna be that'll be interesting too, to see if that picks up. I mean, there's there's still a lot of keys. I mean, God, I love in Trekken's
Yeah,
spot.
it's like 1250,
Um,
something like that.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's still a lot on the floor on OpenSea, man. I mean,
Yeah,
oh, so many keys came out, and I'm like, oh, a 3 profile. I'm like, click, click, click. It's already gone.
yeah,
I snuck in and grabbed a 4 profiler for about a quarter ETH earlier this week, and it was like it was just jumping around
yeah,
first thing in the morning. And there was another, I think, a like 0.23 with 2 profiles in today. So obviously that floor price needs to raise a lot before
yeah.
the remaining keys are sold, because they're at point 0.9. So
Yeah,
uh,
it's tough to see the floor price on the stuff with zero mints on it, because there's some really nice keys out there that are what, at like point 0.3, point 0.4 ETH, that are really good looking keys, but they just don't have any profile mints, which goes to tell me that, which is weird though, because, and I don't really want to get into pricing or anything like that, because I don't, it's not really anything I follow too closely or really care too much about, because I just want to see the platform succeed. But man, I totally forgot where I was going to go with that.
I think that's
It was the mint. So there's a premium on keys with profile mints on them, but profiles still aren't really selling for all that much either. So
no,
I don't know where the value in the keys with the mints are, unless of course it's like, I'm going to sit on this blank key until I'm ready to mint it.
well, for me, it's just about like having the opportunity. Like if I have an aha moment and be like, "Ooh, let me check to see if that's available," then I can
Hmm.
go get it. Like just the other day, I'm doing like a kind of educational program for like Web3 stuff with another group right now. And one of the things we were talking about was how important, like how it's cool to do like CE stuff, like you could continue education stuff
Hmm.
with regard to Web3. So of course I go to NFT.com and CE sitting there. I'm like, okay, 2 letters and it's something I'm working on. Awesome. I grabbed it.
Yeah.
So for me, like having the profile mints, it's nice to just have, if you have an idea and you can say, oh, that's something I can
Yeah.
brand. But yeah, I think the keys, it's a balancing act, because I mean, I want as many keys as I could possibly get, just because I believe there's going to be a value just in having keys, regardless of their
Hmm.
rarity. The rarity is cool for resale, but I'm not planning on reselling any of these things anytime soon. So
Yeah.
for me, it's more about having keys for the advantages you're going to get within the DAO and within as things progress. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you see one with a bunch of profile mints, don't buy it. Wait for me, and
Wait for
I'll.
you.
but
Well, I
yeah,
don't
other
think
than
I'm scooping up anymore, because
yeah,
I have a couple blank profiles that I'm keeping in my back pocket in case I need to pull the trigger on something that I have like an aha moment down the road. But I haven't had one of those, other than the 8 other aha moments I had before those. Haven't had any other aha moments
like
yet.
we have. I mean, I have a ton, and I'm looking at them. Oh, that was a really good idea, but I don't have time to do that right now. That
Yeah.
was a really good idea. I don't even remotely have time to do that right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's all speculation on some level. We all believe in the team and we believe in the platform and we believe these are going to be worth something. But it's speculation at this point. So, to each their own in terms of what their priorities are. I know 8 bar NFTs pretty much grabs anything under zero point 0.3 as soon as it's out. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's all the reason we're in the community.
yeah, well, and the reason that we're in the community is to be able to have a profile page so that we can then promote our projects, which we should do right now.
Yeah. I have these nuts everywhere. That's from now
Yeah,
on.
good.
So, yeah. So yeah, I have NFT.com/nuts and also /hodl these nuts. So, once it was interesting. Seeing Alec kind of tap dance around the first question of, hey, when are Hedera NFTs going to be supported? I feel like that's the biggest. I don't know if it's going to be the biggest needle mover for NFT.com, but at least within the GKC community, it obviously is. So yeah, I know you have a project, and I have kind of an announcement that I teased out on the call. So we've been deciding. So Hodl these nuts. Everybody doesn't know. It's a peanut dressed as in a spacesuit because that's what you do, and it's a funny name. So we're launching on Hedera, and we're doing a really small OG launch. It's a yielding nut. It's a yielding NFT. So
Yeah.
uh, the jokes just never get old. So all the OG nuts are gonna actually yield at least twice as much as any other NFT that any of our other nut drops, which is what we're calling them.
Okay.
So, and on the third nut drop, we're gonna have some utility and gamification that comes in. So those tokens are gonna be that's where they're going to come in. But we're doing a really small launch for the first one, a couple hundred tops, and we really wanted to keep it to like it's all about community. Everybody talks about in Web
Hmm.
three, and for our community, it was really focusing on the people we interact with already. So it's going to be the GKC and it's going to be the Hedera, mainly the Hedera creator community.
Hmm.
So this is really the first time I'm really talking about specifics. So for GKC members, basically, shoot me DM at Huddle These Nuts or the Head Nut or just reach out to me on the boards. And I mean, listen, I know a lot of you guys. We've talked. Some of us met in New York, and like that's it. You're in the waitlist. Fantastic. And we're gonna do a completely trusting P2P drop. So it's not going to be a mint site. It's not going to be anything like that. We're literally just going to send you your nut and you're going to know how much it is and send us send us H bars back. We're going to trust everybody on that.
Yeah.
And it's really, so we're not going to price ourselves out of the market by any means, but if you want to be a community member, and times are tough now, $430 a gallon gas. And so if you don't have it right now, send us what you can. It's all this first drop is 100% about building the community and
Hmm.
making that strong before we get to nut drops 2, 3, and beyond. So yeah, that's my shameless plug. If you'd like one of these beauties with the little, so you have the little spacesuit and then there's a little flag down there with your number and your hex code for your color. Yeah, reach out to me on Twitter or on the boards, and I'd be excited to have as many GKC members as possible because
Awesome.
as far as communities go, this is by
Yep.
far the most engaged and interesting of of the discords or any other that I'm on.
Yeah, and we'll link discords and stuff like that, Twitter pages in the description. And while you're looking at the description, you might as well smash the like button while you're there. And if you aren't subscribed yet, you should probably do that as well. I think there's a bell that does some stuff. Ring that thing.
Yeah,
Um,
we should really have like a counter of we got to say smash that like at least 5 times
Yeah. People are
every.
smashing the like button. I'm noticing some upticks on likes, so I like that. What I'm not noticing yet are people commenting on it. It's so easy to start a conversation there. We're talking about wonderful things that people should be asking questions about. Put
You can even tear
comment.
into us if you want. I don't mind.
What's that?
I You can even tear into us if you want. I don't
Right.
mind.
Yeah, I said tell us what you think sucks for sure. That then we'll make it better. That's fine. We're not going away, so I don't like if you hate this show, that's fine. We're not going away, but some constructive criticism would be fine. We can take it. So,
Just crying myself to sleep over my huge pillow, but
right. I got chocolate and a bag of popcorn and ice cream and all kinds of stuff to help soothe me. Um,
yeah, I
so
mean, you have a project that you're bringing on board also.
Yeah, so I am going to be launching Zoo Crew, which is, you will see behind me is one of the potential backgrounds for a Zoo Crew character. And so I have it set up. It's so a friend of mine did the artwork. He's a fantastic artist. He's not involved in crypto at all. He's not really into social media. he just, I wanted to help him to be able to get this stuff out there. So I'm kind of managing the project for him. And he's actually out building a video game, his first video game. So he doesn't really have a whole lot of time to deal with this kind of stuff anyway. But I'm going to try and do some interviews with him and stuff like that, sit down with him, smoke a bowl, and see how much stuff I can get him to talk about while he's there.
Is he integrating these characters into the video game at all?
No, so the video game is a different character. And so what's funny is I actually approached him about all of this because of the video game, and he had shown me some animations that he had made with the video game, and I was like, hey, those would make really, really cool NFTs. And he was like, yeah, we're kind of well into the development of this. To change courses and adapt it to be an NFT would be really difficult, but it caught his attention, and he sat down and he just started banging out a whole bunch of NFTs. And here, I can actually change my background really quick. Sorry, I will.
Make sure you pick the right picture, man, because this is going out to a lot of people.
This is going live. So this has got a little collection of them. So you can kind of see what they look like here. So some of them have plain backgrounds or just regular colored backgrounds. But each layer attribute, I'm going to do one-on-one with people and they can pick out, like, I want a beard and I want it smoking a cigarette, or I want it wearing a bucket hat, or I want it to have a red background, so all the different attributes, people will be able to pick out what they want specifically. So it won't be one of those blind mints. I'm not really a big fan of that. I want people to get what they want. And then in addition to that, I'm going to have a couple other, I guess, features that you would say that get added onto it. And I want to be able to have a story told about these from the community. So I'm offering, I think it's going to be 2 lines, but maybe it'll be 3 or 4 lines of a short description of the character. Like, Bob is a pirate and he'll, blow a cannon hole through your boat if you piss them off, or something like that. Whatever it is that story is going to be, the people that are minting them will help to create that story. And I think I probably shouldn't even say this because I'm not even confirmed whether or not I'm going to do this, but I think what I want to do is whoever builds their NFT with me, a Zoo Crew NFT, I'll give a portion of the future resales of it too. So they'll become one of the royalty people on that singular NFT.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. And then I think that keeps people interested. And really, I want people to tell, again, it's comments and tell a story. I really want it to kind of drive a community-driven story.
Yeah, and there's a lot. I mean, we say over and over, it's all about community, and it is. But like, what's really like the quality of your community? Like, you see a lot of these discords where, there's a lot of interaction, but it's just a bunch of memes and it's just a bunch of like When Moon or.
Right. And I don't want any of that.
I mean, if
not
it's okay,
any of it, but right.
Yeah.
Some of it's fine.
But like, I mean, you look at especially like the GKC community, like that's random. I mean, if somebody sends a meme, it's like a response to somebody else, but there's like meaningful discussions that are happening. Nathan was talking a lot about security issues and custodial wallets and things like that the other day. It was a really interesting conversation, and it went back and forth over people responding over the course of a couple of days. But those are the kinds of conversations that are going to not only further NFT.com, but just further the Web3 community in general. Like, everybody needs to have these conversations, and eventually one of these conversations is going to spur somebody to come up with the idea that actually solves these problems. So I don't know. I think sometimes we get really tunnel vision. I think I've brought this up before about the fact that like we're so involved and we're so into it that everybody else just understands what we're talking about, when in reality the majority of the population has no earthly idea what an NFT is, let alone how to trade it, or let alone what they can be. So
yeah, we're definitely speaking Greek to these people.
Yeah, definitely. And the more we can educate, and that's why it was great to hear on the GKC call. They were talking about how much emphasis they're putting on education.
I think that's a good call.
Yeah,
Because there
And
still is, right? We're going to need to onboard people. And if we can point people who, instead of us explaining what an NFT is to everyone we meet, we can just point them to nft.com/teach me or edu or ce or whatever it is that they wind up using. I did see somebody had in the GKC lounge had offered up education um, for use. Was that you that did that or no?
well,
I wasn't
I
paying attention to what it was.
also I forget. Yeah, it was just a couple minutes ago, but yeah, and that's I think everybody understands that we're it's a team effort across the board. You just can't do everything yourself. So yeah, I don't know who offered education, but yeah, so we have our projects, everybody, and there's room for lots of successful projects. I mean, God, look at Hedera. I think what was it? Zeus Market went from 20 million H bars up
20
until a month ago. They did 10 million H bars in the last
in
month.
the last
So
month.
it's
That's crazy
uh,
volume.
it's parabolic growth right now. So
Hmm.
uh, yeah, this is the right time to get in, whether you're a creator or just an investor.
Yeah, so Zeus, I think, has been a really good example of a marketplace who has done a really good job. As I actually don't know if they're back up and running right now because they were down for like
Yeah,
12 hours or so.
yeah,
So, although while they've done a great job, there's definitely still some more work to do there.
yeah,
Obviously,
and we should probably make a real quick shout out about the fact that saucer swaps
yes.
Dex is going live. That's massive. A Dex for Hedera is a gargantuan step forward.
I'm personally extremely excited about Saucer Swap. I have electromagnetic. I have I have one of each of their Planck 8 box, and so I'm getting in early at 6. I think it's 6 p.m. Eastern time today, and I am going to provide some liquidity to those pools. H bar X and H bar pool. I'll probably do something with maybe Sauce and H bar. And I'd like to do something with Shib and Shibar, which is kind of like the meme coin that came out a while back. But
Yeah, I was the lucky winner of day 2 of their airdrop.
oh yeah,
So I
that's
just
awesome.
got 500,000 Shibars airdrop to me today. So that
That's
was cool.
incredible. Oh,
Yeah.
for what was that? Are you a silver or a bronze? The what?
I have a couple silvers.
Nice.
Yeah, the gold was like stealth launched, and by the time they announced it, they were all gone, which kind of pissed me off. But ouch.
I did. I won during the gold when they were doing the gold ones. Apparently, they were supposed to do the gold, silver, and bronze all at the same time, and they just did the golds for some reason
Yeah,
shortly after they were supposed to. Anyway,
yeah, I just missed it, so I ended up getting three silvers, so I'm good with that.
but so I've been thinking a lot about tokens because they are also going to be supporting some NFT project tokens. So I wanted to dive just a little bit into a conversation about um, whether or not NFT.com should have its own token and the value of projects having their own tokens, like a Hodl D's Nuts coin or a Zoo Crew coin, or because I really love the idea of somebody buys a Zoo Crew NFT for however many H bar they wind up purchasing it for, and then I reward them in Zoo Crew bucks or whatever token I create. Then I'd love to see the ability within Hashpack or on Zeus Market to be able to buy stuff with tokens other than HBAR, right? So I want to be able to list specific tokens for or specific NFTs for a specific token. Like, but I wouldn't mind selling some stuff for Sauce or selling some stuff for Shibar, or why not? It would make the community that much more active and engaged and give a lot more options. Because right now I'm sitting on a bunch of Shibar and I don't know what to do with it. So if somebody was offering NFTs, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll
Yeah.
buy a whole bunch of them.
I think so. A couple things. So we do have a native token for Hodl These Nuts, which is the
Okay.
HDN token. So that's
It's
what
what
the
token?
HDN, Hodl These
HDN.
Nuts.
All right.
Yeah, so every nut is going to be yielding those tokens just by holding it. You're just going to get tokens,
Okay.
and then we're going to do. I mean, honestly, for the OGs, I'm just going to be airdropping people like daily. I'm
I was
just
going
going
to
to pick.
ask you, how are you, what's the mechanism you're using for?
The OGs are going to be such a tight knit community. Like, my goal is to have zero of these things end up on a secondary market. I know that's probably a little out there and a little too much to ask,
Yeah.
and I understand. People, if you need money, you sell them, whatever. But yeah, as few as possible. It's hodl these nuts. It's not sell these nuts or flip these
This
nuts.
isn't a street corner in New York City where they're selling hot nuts. I mean, come on.
Nuts. um, but yeah, so we do have the token, and that's going to come into play with the third nut drop when we add the utility. But that's the thing about it is, like, if you have a token, it has to be associated with some kind of utility, otherwise it's a security. And then you open up all kinds of stuff with the IRS and
Right.
SEC, all that. So, like, so for instance, for NFT.com, you have the Genesis key, which is your ticket to the DAO, which is your ticket to, get into the locked parts of the Discord. So adding a token on top of that, NFT.com would have to, I mean, they would have to assign some kind of utility to that token. Otherwise, you get into a situation where it's like, okay, these tokens are being assigned value. And kind of to your point about what you were talking with the Shibar tokens and the H suite or whatever else you have, the reason that they don't have value right now because there's no liquidity, there's no deck. So I think that's in the coming days and weeks, you're going to start to find out what these things are actually worth.
Mhm.
If the market is going to bear that out. But yeah, you just have to be careful with the tokens and make sure that it's not. I mean, they're going to get valuable. People are, as long as there's a rarity associated with it and people like the project, but you just have to be careful about the security issues. So I'm not against the idea going forward for NFT.com. And I'm sure this is what they were thinking, is it has to be like it has to be a reason for it other than just
Yeah.
launching a token.
Well, I think rewards is just the easy use case to use for it, right? So every purchase you could have some kind of NFT.com token based on however much ETH or H bar you wind up spending in your purchase, and then you get given this rewards token. And then people can potentially price different parts of their collection out in NFT.com token if they're willing. Maybe they set some of it aside, or maybe NFT.com says we'll do a buyback program with NFT.com tokens. So if you do collect them for your NFTs, you can then sell them to us, and we'll give you ETH or H bar or whatever else it is.
Yeah, the really cool thing about tokens is the opportunities that it opens up for, like, burns and things like that, and decreasing supply and increasing rarity. There's a ton of cool stuff you can do. But at the end of the day, like, for Hodl These Nuts, like, our native token, like, you're going to need that in order to interact with the utility that we're adding. So it's not going to be H bars that you spend; it's going to be HDN tokens. So it's going to be integral to
To
kind
the
of
full pro. Yeah.
maintaining your spot in the ecosystem or whatever it is. So yeah, I'm not against it. I think a lot of people, Meta Zombies launched. They have the Brains token that's associated with it. They're just kind of airdropping people randomly who get that. So I think it's definitely a thing. I don't know. I had a conversation the other day about kind of just I don't even know who we were talking to. It was just some random, like, pop up Twitter space. Which if anybody doesn't do that, you should. Like, if you just
Yeah.
see Twitter, just hop on one, even if you don't know the people on there.
Yeah.
You'll find something cool. But they were talking just about kind of a lot of people on Hedera are just kind of launching NFTs the way NFTs have always been launched, which is just, let's copy what's being done on Ethereum and Solana.
Mhm.
Where I think the opportunity is in doing something different. So
Oh, for sure.
we're trying to do with having a yielding nut. The longer you hold it, the more HDNs you get. With doing a completely trusted P2P launch as opposed to minting. Like, and hopefully it works out. I trust most of the people. I will shame you to all hell on Twitter if you don't. No, but it's about building the community. So and somebody else is going to come up with something else really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I think there's a
so
lot of, and I think there's a lot of innovation in, well, in the NFT space in general. And I think Hedera is a little bit more progressive, I think, than maybe some of the other chains are, only because it's so easy to implement stuff natively with the NFT than it is to do with a smart contract on anybody else's platform.
yeah,
Like again, yeah.
it's a massive step forward, the Hedera token service, and
Hmm.
I think I talked last week about fair.xyz, and what they're doing. They're doing kind of a Hedera token service on Ethereum. I'm actually doing a video for them. I'm going to launch just launch an NFT project for a charity that I work with here in Philly, that raises therapy dogs for veterans with PTSD and traumatic brain injury. So I'm literally just doing a video for them where I'm going to go through and launch the NFT project. It's going to be on Ethereum, which I'm a Hedera guy, so it's tough. But I think I like good people who do good projects, so if I can help them out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's all about mass adoption and getting to that point where it really is just a couple mouse clicks and you can launch an NFT project, or you can buy an NFT, or you can buy tokens, or whatever it is.
It's funny, as much as a Hedera fan as I am recently, I've been buying most of my NFTs on either Ethereum or Polygon or something like that. Only because I want to kind of, well, there's a couple projects that I'm really interested in that are in the Ethereum space. And also, I want to have stuff in my wallet that I can put, like all of these Hedera NFTs that I have, I'm not going to be able to do anything out of the gate with them with NFT.com. So I need to have some ETH NFTs in order to participate.
No, and it's okay. Like, we can have our true allegiance being to Hedera because we like the platform and we
Right.
think it's going to be the future and the sustainability and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, there's room for multiple layer ones, and I think the real, down the road, ideally, people won't even necessarily be this tribal about their layer ones,
Hmm.
and they won't even necessarily know which one they're interacting with because cross-chain interoperability will be that seamless.
Right.
And then it's really just about the technology, and we're a ways off from that, obviously, and of course, we believe that Hedera is going to be one of those layer ones that rises to the top. But yeah, I mean, buy projects on Ethereum, buy projects on Solana, but be very careful when you
Well,
buy
don't buy
projects.
projects on Solana. Not financial advice, but I
Right.
mean, I've heard
No.
so much bad stuff about Solana. Right,
And
I'm not buying anything on Cardano. I'm not buying anything on Solana.
the thing about it is,
I don't
um,
have anything on Algorand, but I hear fantastic things about the Algorand experience and marketplace and community and all that good stuff. Um, so
yeah,
I
the
don't know.
problem with Solana is, like, I have a few projects of people that I like know and are really cool and really working hard, and I want to support them. Like Board Ape Solana Club. I did a Twitter space with them a little ways back to kind of with introduce them to Hedera, which was awesome because like 50 Hederians showed up just to like talk to them about it, which was really cool.
Hmm.
And a couple other projects that are just cool people who are doing cool stuff. And I don't know, it's just there's obviously some technical issues going on with Solana and the whole Solen thing a while back, and that that email that was leaked about how they were going to lock a whale's
Yep.
wallet because they thought he was getting ready to sell. I mean, that's just that's like some it gives off like a venture capital vibe, and
Hmm.
that's just going to turn people off. But I feel bad for the projects that are going to be affected by that because they're good people doing good projects. But all I can say to them is that Hedera is waiting with open arms for
Right.
your cross chain or for your multi chain launch. Gods of Hedera just launched on Hedera. They're a Chronos based.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, their main project.
I saw them show up on Zeus, but
Yeah, their main project is Chrono Gods, and they're doing some cool stuff. They have like it's something called Crow Funds Me, which is like a GoFundMe for
yeah,
Web
that's
three.
cute.
It's all on Chronos, but Yeah, they just launched. This is their first multi-chain launch. They wanted to get on Hedera because they like the community, even though Kronos is their kind of core. So,
Yeah. Well, hopefully we
uh,
can show them why they should stick around.
well, my problem with Kronos actually is I have nothing against it, internally. But when I was at NFT NYC, I didn't know a ton about them, so I went over to their table and I was asking some questions about this and that. I was like, well, what are your sustainability figures? And the guy looked at me and he was like, I don't know. They just hired me yesterday to basically, and
Yeah.
like the amount of money they spent, because they had basically a whole like section of a floor, and the amount of money they spent to get that, and to just get like they were right by the elevators. You step off and they're right there, and they have people who they just hired yesterday who don't know anything about the project.
Right. Just hand out these brochures, kind of a thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically
Well,
shake hands. That just leaves a bad taste with me. And
yeah.
it's could have just been a oversight or whatever. But those are the kind of things like you don't. It's the old adage: you don't get a second chance to make a first impression, and yeah, something like
Well,
that happened.
right. It's going too big too soon, right? You're obviously not equipped to be able to communicate to that many people with the staff that you have. So, I like kind of we're small projects, right? And we're taking on small groups of people to educate and bring into the community. So when
Well,
you go out there and you try and take a too big a piece of pie, that you wind up with egg on your face, unfortunately.
I mean, don't get me wrong; these nuts are looking to grow,
Oh,
but
they'll be huge and hairy, but
all right, let's take it too far. There's a line, dude. Line is a dot to you.
I don't know any lines.
Dude, we have
I have
calls
no
every
tact.
Yeah, we have calls every week about the project, and the D's nuts jokes just don't get old. They really don't. Maybe it's my sophomoric mind, but it's just somebody always says something that's a new one, and yeah, that's we're definitely going to have contests on the Twitter page for best D's nuts joke of the day, and like I said, I'm just going to be airdropping tokens to OG holders left and right. Just
Cool.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, I mean, I guess dude, this happens every time. I look at the clock and I remember
Oh
the
yeah, holy crap. Yeah, we went.
first couple
It's
of these that we did, and we're like, dude, how are we gonna fill up 30 minutes? Like, what are we gonna talk about? And every time with these things, I look at the
time
clock and
goes
it's
fast.
20 minutes later. So yeah, this is just Web3 geekdom. This is what happens.
Cool. So go check out Hodl These Nuts, links and stuff like that in the description, and then go check out Zoo Crew NFTs. I'll link the Twitters and stuff down there, and Discord. Just got the Discord started, so please, everybody, I'm not new to Discord, but I'm new to managing a Discord server. So yeah, I know you and Houdini both gave me some feedback on my Discord and
Yeah,
verification in it and stuff. I was like, I didn't know. I just went online. I found the first verification thing. I Google searched and I plugged it in, and then both of you two were like, "What's up with the stupid verification process?" And I'm like, I don't know. Everybody else seems to have verification on their sites, and I'm just doing what everybody else does. So
yeah.
I'm
Honestly,
trying to figure out the Discord.
we're just getting our Discord up and running too. It's it's been something that's been set up, but it takes a little time. I actually just had a call with a guy who's Hedarian on Twitter, so he's going to help us out with kind of moderating
So
and
many
setting it up.
plugins.
It's just time in the day that
Yeah.
there's so few hours, and that just doesn't jive with Web3, man. The whole
More
sleeping
stuff to learn about.
in the ass. But yeah, I mean, I think we probably hit most of what
Yeah.
we wanted to, and 73 other things.
I
So
think we're good. Yeah, we can wrap this up. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. And yeah, we'll see you again next week. And I think we'll have a guest on again next week. I'm not sure who we'll have on for a guest, unless you're scheduled. We should probably, yeah.
yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe we'll grab somebody else from the NFT.com crew.
Yeah, I
Somebody.
think so.
I
We'll
mean, I
pop
wouldn't
into
have
the GKC Lounge. Hey, if you're listening to this, put it into the GKC Lounge that you want to be on the show.
absolutely. We'll take it. Literally, we'll take anybody. I mean,
No, I know it's the highest standards, but you're gonna make Alec and everybody else feel like that.
Yeah, I definitely want
Like
to
we
have
would have
Ivan.
just taken somebody off the street to talk to.
Like I said, I want to have Ivan on so that I can torture him. I'll have like a nice big. He spent some time in Philly, so I'll have a nice big Wawa hoagie sitting here for him
Yeah.
to stare at the entire time.
Well, and if right, so if Intrakin wants to be on, I think that would be an awesome one. If Brock wants to be on, I think that would be an awesome one. If I don't know, just toss some names out there. If there's anybody else that
Nathan,
wants, yeah, Nathan would be awesome too.
we'll call with Nathan, just talking about security stuff. He seems really be really into that. So
Cool.
yeah, plenty of
So,
people. So
so if you guys are listening, thanks for listening, and then don't just listen. Come on and be on the show.
and smash the wherever it is, like
All of them. Smash all the
whatever.
buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're playing NES in in the early days. Just button smash.
Up, down, down, left, right,
Yeah,
B.
exactly. Contra. Somebody knows their contra code.